Hi, I'm Dr. Nick, chiropractor in San Francisco, California at Judas Street Clinic. And 2 days ago, I had an injury to my left ankle when I was out surfing, and it was an inversion injury. So if you look down here, this is where my ankle rolled in, and I had a strain to the peroneal muscles and then also the deltoid ligament in the ankle. And yesterday, this part of my foot was completely swollen. Now there's a little bit of swelling in here, and then you can see a bruise along this edge. But I took really good care of it yesterday, and it's healed up remarkably. And so I wanted to make a short video to show you guys what I did to tend to my ankle, so that if something like this happens to you, you know what to do at home. So in my rehabilitation at home, here's the items that I used. This is a pan with ice water. This is for soaking my ankle in. This is some Arnica gel. This is a wrap. This one has a slight bit of adhesive to it, but you can use an Ace bandage found at any local drugstore. That's a really great thing to use. I use this roller on my foot. I did some hand massage. I also utilized the Theracane, and then I also integrated the Endoboard instability disc as soon as I started to feel semi-stable, and I eased my way into that one right there. So now I'll show you how I used each item. So the first thing I did was came home and soaked my foot in some ice the first night. I got it in ice right away. You can use a bag of ice. I personally like to soak it, and felt lucky that I had a pan that was large enough to accommodate my foot. But if you don't have something that your foot will fit in, or whatever it is that you're working on, then you can just use a bag of ice. But I kept my foot in here. Typically what you want to do is 10 minutes of soaking in ice water every waking hour is the gold standard. So every hour that you're awake, try to soak your extremity or whatever it is that's injured in ice water, or hold ice to it for 10 minutes each hour. So after soaking my foot to continue to help with inflammation, I use some of this Arnica Care gel. It's just a gel that has Arnica in it, and that really helps with inflammation and sedating the sensations of pain a little bit in your body. I tried to be very consistent about keeping this on the injury site to help prevent the escalation of inflammation in the area. So I just put a little on there and just rubbed it in thoroughly, just like this. Okay. So still on the first night of the injury, I'm continuing to demonstrate what I did with care for myself. The next thing that I did was wrapped the site of injury. So I wanted to compress it a little bit. So what I did, you can do this with an Ace bandage, but what you want to do is do a figure 8 wrap. And I'm trying to not do this too tight. I'm running low on this product, but I'm going to try and show you with the little amount that I have. So what you want to do is wrap around like that over the top once, and then come around the heel. Come around the back like this, and then go over the top like that. So here it is. I'm wrapping around the foot like this, coming around the back of the heel like so, and then wrapping it over, and then it's going to continue under like so, and it will wrap. I'll just repeat. So it'll go under like this, around the ankle, and then back down. And just, I do it several times to cover the foot and cover the ankle through here. Okay, so several layers, but I'm out of the tape, so that's all of the demonstration you're gonna get. So on the first night, while my ankle was wrapped, I also elevated my ankle as well. So if you look here, you can see that the elevation of my ankle is higher than that of my heart. This helps to restrict the amount of blood flow going down into that area, which will work to diminish the amount of inflammation that is occurring in there as well. So this is the day after the injury. I took off my bandage. I didn't have it on that day. And I wasn't as concerned about compression and elevation, although I think it would have been really helpful, but I didn't do it in this instance. You might want to consider continuing to do that, but I didn't do it because I was trying to ice a bunch that day. And I only ended up icing 4 times, which wasn't a whole lot, but it seemed to suffice pretty well. So in the morning, I just iced my foot, and I was holding it in there for 10 minutes. I ended up doing that 4 times throughout the day. This is a pretty uncomfortable step. You're gonna wanna try and do things that distract your mind from what you're actually doing with the ice. You wanna be careful not to cause any type of injury to the area, so you wanna be mindful if it's dangerously cold, but typically we can tolerate, if we're not used to being around the cold, we can tolerate more than what we think before there's any type of tissue damage. So part of it's just trying to relax and seeing if you can find some ease in the cold. If you are trying to relax and you can, it's excruciating, then just do short icings. But I would try to shoot for about 10 minutes is ideal with this, okay? After the icing, I dried off my foot and I would put more Arnica on it. So I continue with the Arnica, and I just put more on the foot. Then from there, I started to work on specific muscles, and it's the muscles that are going to be stabilizing the ankle. So I wanted to work on the peroneal and the fibularis muscles, or the tibialis muscles, I'm sorry. So in the peroneals, there's peroneus longus and brevis, and it's a pretty long muscle. It's going in, it's going to hold your foot. What it does is it points your foot down and externally rotates it. So it offers support in plantar flexion and external rotation. And what my goal is with working on these muscles on myself was to get everything neurologically stimulated. So what I did was some cross friction massage. You don't necessarily need to worry about that. What you can do is just travel along the shin bone. I'm going right next to where the shin bone is right here, in between the shin bone and the fibula, and in there's a lot of soft tissue. And so what you want to do is go in and work all that soft tissue along in there. And just look out for any tender spots, like trigger points, anything like that. That's an important area. Then there's the one of the muscles that I definitely injured. There was the peroneus tertius muscle, and that does dorsiflexion and external rotation. And so where you work on that is more down near the base of the fibula and the tibia. And what you want to do is go into that midsection right in there, in between the two of them where there's soft tissue, and just work the muscles down in here. And this bump on the ankle is called the lateral malleolus. You just want to go just a little bit above that and just look around in there with your thumbs and find a tender spot and just work it. Then the other end of that muscle, it's really important to work, is going to be right in between, in the interossi space. It's tying into the 5th and 4th metatarsal up near the heads. So what you want to do is go ahead and work that area, and that's still very tender on me. So, but that's a really good area to work, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Just kind of feel around in there and look for any tender spots, and massaging that's going to be really, really helpful to reset normal tone of the muscles in the area. Another area you want to really focus on is on the bottom of the foot. And if you start traveling up, actually what you can do, you want to go up towards the end of this metatarsal bone right here. So it's right near the base of the pad of the foot. And that's where the tibialis anterior is going to come in and tie into the foot, right in that area. It's got kind of a broad attachment, but you want to start there and just start working your way down towards the heel. Okay, then you're gonna get into the tibialis posterior. And also what you wanna work is if you wrap around, you're on the fibula right here, you wrap around behind it, just kind of like right to the back of the knee. That's where the tibialis posterior is attaching, and you wanna go in and work that area right in there. So just work these muscles up near the knee, this end of their attachment. These are the muscles that cross the ankle joint and support the ankle. Because when you have an injury to the muscles in that area, it can alternate the tone of these muscles and create instability that will make you prone to re-injury later. So it's simple to reset the tone of these muscles by just going in and working on them and kneading on them. Rather than using my hands, what I did in my situation was I went through with this Theracane and just kind of like kneaded through and worked the spots. I did it just like really broad strokes. And then if I found a tender spot, like traveling down, oh, there's a tender spot right there, I would just go in and like knead on it a little while and just try to release it. And just kind of take your time. Take good care of yourself while you're doing this. And another tool that I used was this roller. And you can just use like a glass bottle. Be careful not to break it when you're standing on it. Or like a rolling pin. And what you want to do is just set that on the ground, and you're working the bottom of your foot, and that's going to really stimulate a lot of the attachment sites for the muscles that support the ankle along the bottom of the foot and help to reset and turn on the tone of those. So you're just going to come in like that and roll the bottom of the ankle. And continuing with the Arnica and the ice throughout the day and multiple times working on the muscles of the calf, I noticed that my ankle was getting more and more stable and less sensitive as the day went on. I remember the first night I was just in excruciating pain. It was painful to sleep. It just felt like it was going to be a very serious injury. But through the day, by doing these techniques, the ankle became a lot more stable. Then towards the end of the day, I was feeling pretty good, so I got on one of these just to try and like neurologically stress and retrain the muscles of the ankle, and I just stood and balanced on this. I wasn't trying to do any like squats or anything while I was doing it, but just to try and like stand on there and balance and cause that fast twitch activation of all the muscles, and help to retrain stability in there. I didn't want anything to get sluggish or there to turn in any type of chronic instability to happen. So that was it. So first day, I did ice and Arnica. I wrapped it with the figure 8 and then elevated it. That was the big thing that I did on the first day. That was at night. I took it really easy that night. Next day, I was continuing with the ice and the Arnica. I did not wrap it. I started to work on the muscles along the calf, in the front of the leg and in the back of the leg. And then I also worked the muscle attachment sites on the bottom of the foot to help reset normal tone. As the day went on and I continued to ice and use Arnica, I felt more stable, and then I got on the wobble board. So this may or may not take you a day, it might take you longer, but you can spread these steps out for a while. And as you start to feel more and more stable, then you can start to integrate the exercises. But for any type of ankle injury, you can also apply this to the wrist or elbow, shoulder, anywhere. But for like an ankle sprain, ankle injury, this is a really great protocol for you to do at home. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer any of them to fill in any details that I may have missed. If anything happens to you, I hope that you heal up quickly. Oh, another thing I did was I got my ankle adjusted, and also I got my low back adjusted to help open up nerve flow to the down my legs into the ankle. So that I think that was really helpful as well too. So definitely got an adjustment from my chiropractor. So that was it, and I'm feeling a lot better today. I'm really stoked. I thought I was going to be out of commission. I'm going to continue to take it easy for the rest of the week because I want to be in tip-top shape for helping people in the office, and then also to catch some waves this fall. So I'm going to allow it to heal even though it's feeling a lot more stable. I'm just going to let it rest and then gently ease my way back into doing exercise and continue to work on it. So there you go.